What's up, everybody? Jared here with another good old movie review. So I went to the old Netflix and checked out their new comic noir film, Polar. The world's top assassin, Duncan Vizla, is settling into retirement when his former employer marks him as a liability to the firm. Against his will, he finds himself back in the game, going head-to-head with an army of younger, faster, ruthless killers. So is Polar a solid adaptation? Let's find out. Now, before I get into my thoughts, let me know what you guys thought of Polar in the comments down below. Without further ado, let's get into some of the good. Starting off, the action in Polar is over the top, it's gruesome, it's bloody. It honestly might be a little too much for people, but it takes basically what I'm assuming was in this comic, brings it to the big screen. I mean, there's torture scenes, there's shootouts, there's stabbings. Like, this is gruesome to the max. It does have some very, mature stuff in this movie, but there's also some great moments, too, like this warehouse shootout scene, a Daredevil-esque hallway scene that's really good, and then also this, snowy shootout atmosphere type thing that really reminded me of a scene from, I think, the original Metal Gear Solid game. This movie, it's got action. Adding to the pluses of this movie, Mads Mikkelsen as Duncan, the assassin or whatever, he is perfect in this role. He's cold, he's calculated, he's quiet. He does have this kind of odd, dark sense of humor. But on the flip side, is completely brutal, is kicking ass, is doing all of this wild stuff. And honestly, in real life, you could see this guy being this straight up assassin. He's just this assassin that's exhausted, worn out, tired. He's over the whole game. He just wants to go into retirement and watch a movie every day. And honestly, if that's what retirement is, just watching a movie every day, sign me up. A few other small things where the music was done by Dead Mao or Dead Mouse. I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce him, but he in the fight scenes, the action scenes, there was some great techno music, also kind of for transitions to help really move this movie along. And some of the sprawling kind of overhead scenery shots were really beautiful when it's just this snow's lightly dusting all of this atmosphere. A lot of this movie was very gorgeous to the eye. However, Polar is pretty much all over the place. It's kind of like two different movies, two different tones kind of just smashed together into this singular movie. The Mads Mikkelsen side of things is kind of serious, it's more darker. I feel like it kind of had almost a more blue, darker color palette. And then when we jump over to this other group of assassins, it's jokey, it's fun, it's a comedy, really bright colors. These two things completely clashed in the movie. And lastly, just a couple small things, like the plot or through line from this movie, it's kind of generic. We've seen it before. It didn't really do anything to really reinvent itself. The script and writing felt very much wooden or kind of dry at times. Like Vanessa Hudgens, she's in this movie. She's very unrecognizable, but a lot of her lines, a lot of her one-liners they didn't really land, in my opinion. It kind of felt out of character. And what the is going on with the blonde-haired Dick Tracy Humpty Dumpty looking villain? Whoever thought it was a good idea to get, I think Matt Lucas, I think that's his name, into this role as the villain, that completely threw the movie off. Maybe in the comics, maybe in the graphic novel or whatever, that's what the character is like, but it was completely a different movie. It just didn't work. Overall, Polar is this Netflix adaptation that unfortunately does not land. With some badass action scenes, Mads Mikkelsen's performance, and some decent music and scenery shots, but with these two odd tones, bad writing and script, and this f***ing Humpty Dumpty villain, personally, I would completely skip out on Polar. It does have its moments, but it's a very mixed bag mishmash of a bunch of different things. In closing, I'm going to give Polar 1 out of 5 eye patches. So what did you think of Polar? I want to know in the comments down below. Anyways, guys, as always, thank you for watching. Follow all of my social media stuff down there. There's more videos over there. Watch those. Subscribe down to my channel if you haven't. And until next time, I'll see you later.